Episode 411 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic starts now, and I will be recapping WWE Night of Champions. Who walked out of Night of Champions as the new World Heavyweight Champion. Also, who left as the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions. I'll talk about those two matches and more right here, right now. 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hello and welcome, Wrestling Fanatics. Day 2 of this huge pro wrestling weekend. And today it is time to talk about WWE Night of Champions that took place today. Just a reminder, last night, 360 Wrestling Fanatic episode 410. Recapping Impact Wrestling Under Siege, WWE Friday Night SmackDown, and AEW Rampage is now available. Also stay tuned for tomorrow morning, the Sunday episode of 360 Good Morning Wrestling Fans, and also tomorrow night I will be live once again after AEW Double or Nothing. I know before I said right after, but I might wait until a little bit and then watch the media scrum with Tony Khan first, and then come on for the live episode right after Double or Nothing, or right after the media scrum, I should say, because I'm sure that'll be a big one coming out of tomorrow night's pay-per-view, Double or Nothing, one of AEW's biggest shows of the year. But before I get into tonight's episode, gotta tell you about the E-Hell Smoke Shop right here in Southgate, Michigan on Eureka Road. And they have great prices on vape Breeze for $11.99. Good selection of glass, everything else you will need. The E-House Smoke Shop in Southgate, Michigan on Eureka Road. Definitely check them out. You won't regret it. And now let's get into tonight's episode and talk about WWE Night of Champions premium live event on Peacock in the US and WWE Network everywhere else. Night of Champions was live this afternoon. Well, here anyway, in the US it was 1 p.m. Eastern. Live from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, from the Jeddah Superdome. The commentators for the PLE, Michael Cole, representing Friday Night SmackDown, and Corey Graves, representing Monday Night Raw. And we kick things off huge. I don't know about anyone else listening right now, but I was definitely surprised to see what started the show. But before I get into it, the first two matches I watched while I was still at work, working, so I was not able to time the first two matches. but I did see them though. When I got home, I picked up where I left off. So I do not have the time for the first two matches, but as I was saying, I was surprised how this PLE got started with the match for the new Raw World Championship. The phenomenal AJ Styles taking on Seth freaking Rollins. And I actually thought this would at least be close to being the last match. But it was not. But I definitely did not expect it to be the opening match of the show. But I kind of see why to make it a big deal still though. Like, want to come out strong. Like I've heard Chris Jericho say before, the best spots are either, of course, closing the show, going on last, or the first match of the night. And this match, it was a very good match, but I thought it could have been a little better. I was expecting it to be a little more. Maybe I had my hopes up a little too high, but it was still a good match, and nothing against Seth Rollins, but I have to admit I am a little disappointed. Yes, the new Raw World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins, defeating AJ Styles. I have talked about on 360 Wrestling Fanatic and GMWF this morning that I was picking AJ Styles to win. And then after the match, Triple H comes to the ring and presents Seth Rollins with the new World Heavyweight Championship. So, as of right now, AJ Styles staying on Friday Night SmackDown. Once again, even though I am a little disappointed Styles didn't get the title, but still, good match here. And our next match, Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch. I thought this one was a good match, and Trish and Becky both looked pretty good in this one. And kind of a surprise, actually, out from under the ring comes Zoe Starks and hits Becky Lynch with the Z360 and throws her back in the ring for Trish, giving her a bloody nose. I'm not sure if it's broken or not, but there was quite a bit of blood there. Trish pins Becky for the win. I'm sure Monday night on Raw they'll have an explanation if there's going to be an alliance between Trish Stratus and Zoe Starks. Now we will just have to wait and see. Now our third match of the NOC is the WWE Intercontinental Championship match. Gunther taking on Mustafa Ali. I am a big fan of Ali. Nothing at all against him, but definitely did not expect him to win, and he did not. But for what it was an okay match. Gunther defeating Ali to retain the Intercontinental Championship, 8 minutes, 25 seconds. And next up, the Raw Women's Championship is on the line. Bianca Belair defending against Asuka. Good match, I thought, between these two. Definitely a fan of both. The finish, I thought, was really creative and good the way they came up with it. Earlier in the match, Asuka went to spray the mist, but Bianca Belair dodged it once again. But later on, Asuka puts her hand to her mouth, putting the mist on her hand, and then Bianca goes for the KOD. And at that time, Asuka takes the hand that has the mist on it and puts it in the eyes of Bianca Belair, blinding her, and that hits the Kinshasa, or not the, sorry about that, she's not Nakamura, but she gets the win, defeating Bianca Belair to become the new Raw Women's Champion. So I don't know, now that Asuka is on SmackDown and the Raw Women's Champion, if they'll finally switch the titles. Being that I know before with Bianca Belair holding that championship, they kept talking about it, how she was the longest reigning women's champion in the modern era. So now that the title's off of her, they might switch the titles, and that will become the SmackDown title, and vice versa with the Raw Women's Championship. But that was a very good match, though. And next up, the SmackDown Women's Championship is on the line. Natalya taking on the SmackDown Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley. And yes, Mommy has Dom with her. And this one was real short. And I was expecting more from this match. I don't know why. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I was expecting them to let Natalya go in there, have a really good competitive match against Rhea. But unfortunately, that did not happen. Dom distracts Rhea Ripley, or Natalya, allowing Rhea Ripley to attack Natalya and then get the win at 1 minute and 8 seconds. Still, SmackDown Women's Champion Rhea Ripley. Like I said, that could have been a lot better. I don't know if there was a reason they had that one so short, but definitely could have been better than what it was. Next up, we have the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, taking on the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. This one was okay, I thought. I wouldn't say it was a real great match, but going in with a storyline, Cody Rhodes having a broken arm, and Lesnar locks in the Kimura. Cody does not tap out, though. Instead, he passes out. Lesnar gets the win, 10 minutes, 45 seconds. Definitely not bad. This is what I expected, though. Lesnar to win. And I'm sure eventually we will see a third match between these two. The rubber match in the series. Possibly SummerSlam here in Detroit. Or possibly if Lesnar does appear at Money in the Bank in London at the O2 Arena July 1st. We could possibly see it there, but I'd say chances are more likely that if we do see a third match, it'll probably be at SummerSlam, but who knows. And now it is time for the main event of the evening. For the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championships, the WWE Undisputed Universal Champion, the Tribal Chief, the Head of the Table, Roman Reigns, and Solo Sikoa, the Bloodline, taking on the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, who got a huge pop there in Saudi Arabia. As usual, Paul Heyman gets the mic and does the introduction for Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. And then Sami Zayn gets on the mic and introduces himself and Kevin Owens in Arabic. And this match I thought was actually pretty good. Good main event here. And Paul Heyman said the Usos wouldn't be there, but they were. And ended up showing up during the main event, attacking Kevin Owens on the floor, tipping the announce table over on him, and they go in the ring, attack Sami Zayn, and hit him with a super kick, and go for a second one, but Sami ducks, and the second super kick, they hit their own brother Solo. While this is going on, Roman Reigns is on the floor, sees that, is furious. He goes in the ring, starts pie-facing both of them again, just like he did on SmackDown. And he pie-faces Jimmy, does the same thing to Jay, tells him to get out of his ring. And then Jimmy has enough. He can't take it anymore. Just like Popeye, I had all I can stands, I can't stands no more. And Jimmy Uso hits Roman Reigns with a super kick. And Jay is shocked at first. Paul Heyman is shocked. And Jimmy talks to him, tries to talk some sense into him. And he says they are the ones, not him. And then he hits Roman with another super kick, knocking him out of the ring. And they leave, go to the back. And then Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens go back in the ring. Sami Zayn hits the haluva kick on Solo, pins him. Still WWE undisputed tag team champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn as they leave. Jay was the one that was kind of upset, kind of was in the middle, wasn't sure why his brother was super kicking Roman. But Jimmy definitely had enough of Roman Reigns. Definitely going to be interesting what happens on SmackDown next Friday night. And that was WWE Night of Champions. 26 minutes, 19 seconds for the main event, by the way. So overall, I would say it was a pretty good show with some good wrestling. I wouldn't say that it was a real spectacular, great show, but still worth checking out anyway. In case you missed it, weren't able to watch it this afternoon, I recommend checking it out on Peacock if you're here in the United States, or WWE Network elsewhere. It was definitely worth checking out, and pretty good show, I thought. That's not all for this big pro wrestling weekend, though. We finish up tomorrow night, and I know this hasn't been as talked about as all the other shows, but NXT Battleground is tomorrow night on Peacock and the WWE Network, 8 p.m. Eastern. But also tomorrow night, also 8 p.m. on pay-per-view, is AEW Double or Nothing, and I will be live after AEW Double or Nothing. Maybe not right when the pay-per-view goes off, because I might wait and watch Tony Khan's media scrum that he usually does after every AEW pay-per-view. Definitely should be a good one tomorrow night. And I know they do this for every AEW pay-per-view, but the official podcast of All Elite Wrestling, AEW Unrestricted, is up now with Tony Khan previewing Double or Nothing. I recommend checking that out if you haven't listened to that podcast yet. And Tony Schiavone was at his granddaughter's graduation that night, so filling in with referee Aubrey Edwards was Will Washington guest hosting. It's definitely a good listen. Speaking of podcast, hope to have more episodes of this one, 360 Wrestling Fanatic, coming at you real soon. Tomorrow morning, good morning wrestling fans, the Sunday episode, I will be running down tomorrow night's AEW Double or Nothing card. So tune in tomorrow morning. Also remember, if you're here in the Michigan area, the E-House Smoke Shop got great prices on vape and glass, $11.99 for threes. Definitely check them out. Also, if you want to have your product or your business advertised here on 360 Wrestling Podcast, you can just email me at 360wrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. I'll do a good read for you. Try not to mess up too badly. So hope we can work something out. Once again, the email is 360wrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. I'll put it in the description as well. And that's all for tonight's episode. Hope everyone's pro wrestling weekend, also Memorial Day weekend if you're here in the United States, hope it's going well for everyone. Hope everyone has a happy and safe weekend and enjoys this pro wrestling we have. But until tomorrow, I am Lance and I am a wrestling fanatic.